All right, y'all. I'm here. Sorry I'm a little late. Um, Prayer time. I heard the bells going off for prayer, and I tried to make it to the guy downstairs before they closed up, but I didn't, so I had to wait until after prayer to get some credit. And then when I got there, he didn't have credit. He wasn't able to give me the credit, so I had to walk down the street and get credit from the other guy. But I'm here. Hopefully some ladies will come on. And a few. If not, I'll just talk health and wellness and be on my way. I'm trying to be consistent. I said that I'm going to try to do this every Sunday. So that's what I'm trying to do is consistently give an outlet to discuss whatever needs to be discussed about repatriation. So I'm going to wait a little bit and then I'll just talk. There weren't any suggestions of what we should talk about today. So, and there's so many topics that we can talk about. So I'll just go over a few things as I see it, and then I'll be done. I'm still not feeling 100%, so I won't be long today. And seems as if either the ladies are busy today or you ladies aren't really interested today, and it's fine. You all can watch later, and we can discuss in the comments or whatever. We kind of had a discussion about it on my post about my food mishap this week, but or this weekend. But so anyway, I wanted to talk about health and wellness and how important it is on coming on this side of the pond to make sure you have all of the things that you need to be healthy, and that you're following certain precautions to make sure that you're healthy. There's a few things that you probably need to do different here than you would do in America. Some of the things are the same things you would do in America. If you haven't seen the post, I made a post this week or a couple of days ago, or was it yesterday? Yesterday I made a post about getting comfortable and being careless with food prep. It's been a very long time since I've made that mistake, but I did. After talking in the comments, I realized where my mistake was in washing. I don't remember. I remember I took the vinegar and the lemons out to wash my vegetables with, but I don't remember adding it to the water to wash my vegetables with, and I think that's where I screwed up. So I ended up with a GI nightmare that lasted about 14 hours, and literally I'm just getting back to where I could really like sit up and you know, not feel like I'm about to die. But what I would say is that you need to make sure that you keep your health is your number one priority. So if it's herbs, vitamins, whatever it is that you need to do or take to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, please do that. A lot of the women in our group are into natural herbs and stuff, so there are a number of things that you can do to be sure that you're good, that you can get on the ground, but you can also bring stuff with you. For short-term travel, what I was doing initially was I would have the little medicine thing that has like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, those on there, and each little compartment I would label like ibuprofen, laxative, anti-diarrhea, Benadryl, whatever else I needed. I would fill those up with those meds and put them in the bag that I carry all the time. And then I'll put the rest of them in my luggage. That way, if I was out and anything happened or I started to get sick, I would have something in my hand to take to make sure that I was good. You also want to, of course, carry hand sanitizer with you all the time. Sometimes you may be places where you can't actually wash your hands. So you need to have hand sanitizer with you all the time. You will need to always, when it comes to street food, my rule for me is if it's not coming off the fire or out the grease, I don't mess with it. If it's not hot, or if they can't put it back on the fire, I don't mess with it. Because again, the bacteria and stuff that grows in the environment, our gut is not used to it. So the likelihood of it making you sick is really strong. So you need to make sure that you're not eating street food that's not hot. And when it comes to your fruits and vegetables that you're buying, make sure you wash them with like vinegar, lime or lemon. Some people use salt to wash them. Just wash them well. Make sure that you're, just clean them. And make sure when you're cooking that you do that each time. I think what tends to happen is I know what happened for me. I believe that I got a little careless. And because I haven't been sick here in a long time, I wasn't paying attention. And although I took the stuff out, I didn't make sure I poured it into the water. And I believe that's how I got sick. So you want to make sure that you are taking care to wash your fruits and vegetables. I usually don't even buy fruits and vegetables cut up off the street. I usually even if they cut it up in front of me, I don't like to because I'm like, okay, where you been cleaning that knife at? Where, I'm really like that. I don't, and it's not trying to be funny, but I know that my gut is not prepared for the germs that you could possibly be carrying. So, you know, it's more of a take good care of yourself, because one thing about getting sick here is because the environment is so different, you have to be vigilant about your health. Yes, hey Tiffany, complacency can kill you. You damn right it can. That's your weight loss pro. Hey, I need to lose weight, but I don't want to spend 14 hours each time trying to not die. Yeah. So like, just make sure that you have whatever herbs and things that you need. Make sure you always have that stuff on hand. And then you always have your little side stash for if you get sick. You know, you never want to be in a situation where you get sick and you don't really have the cash on hand to take care of yourself. Always have you a little medical stash somewhere, because if you get sick in the middle of the night or something, you just might find yourself in a situation where you really can't get the care that you need, because it's a cash society. So I would say make sure you always have some cash on hand, so that if you get sick, you can get taken care of. What else? Oh, one thing that you will have to do here that we don't often do, we should do it in America, but most of us don't, is deworm. You need to take a dewormer every 3 to 6 months. Here it's like one pill you take every 3 to 6 months, and it's something that we need to do. We had one sister who she's vegan, and she had been getting sick a lot, and she couldn't figure out for a very long time. It took them a very long time to figure out what was going on with her and why she was so sick. And eventually they found out that she was basically full of worms. And, you know, because she eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, she was full of worms. And that's what was making her so sick. So you need to make sure you deworm every 3 to 6 months. And that pill, it really don't cost that much money. So you should make sure you do that. What am I, a cat? I mean, that's how I felt. I was like, what am I, a puppy? I got to deworm. But yeah, you do. You need to deworm. So you what else? Deworm. Okay, you need to make sure you take your herbs, and if you need vitamins and all of that, you need to make sure you always have, if you on medication or anything like that, you need to make sure you have your medication. You should, when you're visiting, I would say during your reconnaissance mission, you should check the pharmacies to see if they have your medicine in the pharmacies, so that if something happens and you need to get your medicine right away, see if they have your medicine in the pharmacy, so that you can get it. Or see if your doctors in the States will give you medicine for months at a time. So, depending on the medicine, some doctors will give you 3 or 6 months worth of medicine at a time. So you may want to look into that. Me personally, I came with my own first aid kit. I I would say kind of brush up on your first aid skills. Um, you need to make sure you know how to do, at least do CPR, um, and know how to treat minor cuts and bruises and things like that. You need to know how to do that because certain things, a small cut could turn into a big issue if you don't take care of it. So I would say make sure you have the things that it takes to tend to those things. Like me, because I have children, I made sure that it was even more important that I made sure that I knew how to do certain things. I worked in a hospital, so I had one of the respiratory therapists came to our house. Actually, before I had my now almost 6-year-old, I had a friend of mine that's a respiratory therapist come to our house, and she taught my whole family CPR and life-saving, some life-saving skills. So I would say know how to do those things because you never know what situation you may be in. What else? I don't know. This Friday's situation with me left me really like thinking about how, once again, because we've talked about this before, but I felt like we needed to address it again because we have a lot of new women in the group. This is another reason why it's important to build relationships. You need to build relationships with people on the ground and have people who check in on you regularly, who y'all check on each other regularly. We've had repats who have died because they don't really deal with nobody and all of that stuff. And they literally basically like rotted in their house because they got sick and nobody knew. So they ended up, not getting what they needed, or it was so long before somebody knew that by the time they got to them and got them to the hospital, it was too late. So that's another reason why it's important to build relationships that are, even if y'all don't have to talk every day, but check on each other. Like, have somebody that y'all check on each other like weekly or every couple of days or something, so that somebody would know that you're good. Because even, having your friends and family on the other side of the world, that's not going to do you no good when you in Ghana and you sick. It's just important that you have people who can check on you. And we've been talking about this for years, about sisters not coming to Ghana and becoming isolated. And that's one of the problems that I find, that a lot of people get isolated when they get to Ghana. And I don't want that to happen to anyone, where you find yourself isolated and then sick. We've also had situations where, because the sisters do check on each other all the time and they do make sure each other is doing okay, they were able to help one another. We had one sister who had gotten sick and nobody knew, but another sister was checking on her and found out that she was sick and went to her aid. We had another time where an elder sister was sick and needed assistance, and another sister in the group was a home health aide. So she went to where the elder was and took care of her for a couple of weeks until she got herself back together. So, it's important that we build these relationships with each other so that we can feel comfortable to reach out to each other and ask for help when it's necessary. I just want you all to be very vigilant about taking care of yourselves and making sure that you're healthy, making sure that you're drinking water. Make sure that you drink your water here. It's really not an option to not drink water. Getting dehydrated here is not a good look. So make sure you're drinking water. Make sure you're eating healthy. A healthy, balanced diet. Quiet as it's kept, a lot of the people who claim to be vegetarians who move to Ghana, they end up eating like some chicken or some fish at least once a week because of the there's while you can get protein from beans and other things, it's the protein component in the meat it's a different kind of thing. And the West African diet, from my research, is one of the best diets in the world. It's a pretty balanced diet if you look at how it's actually supposed to be, how they actually eat. So it's not a lot of meat in the diet, but there's lots of vegetables. The starch is not processed. Most of the time, the starch is a fresh starch. So, like fufu and kinke and all of that stuff, while it's starch, it's not processed. These are things that are coming out of the ground. They cook it, they pound it, they eat it. So it's more of a natural way of getting the starches that you need. And so you get your starches, you get a lot of vegetables, you get a little bit of meat or fish, and it's a good balanced diet. But if you don't eat meat, you need to make sure you find a way to get in some good fats and proteins, because this environment calls for you to be very vigilant with your health. So whatever that means, it's up to you to make sure that you do whatever you need to do to be healthy. Whatever your diet may be, to be healthy. So I think that's it. I talked about deworm. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this live. I'm gonna lay back down. I just wanted to make sure I came on and gave the opportunity to have a talk this week. There wasn't anything that anyone put out that they really wanted to talk about. So, which is why I wanted to quickly just jump on here and talk about how being healthy. And just to recap, just make sure even when you're visiting, to bring certain things that you need. In my little first aid kit, I would have Band-Aids, I would have bacitracin, a ace bandage, because I have twisted my ankle before when I was at the slave dungeons. I twisted my ankle, but I had on hiking boots, which is, I believe, that's what saved my ankle. But that's another thing. You need to make sure that you're wearing proper shoes. Make sure that you, like during the rainy season, you got some shoes that's covering your feet well, or some rain boots or something like that. If you going into somewhat, like if you got hiking boots, I would say wear those when you go to waterfalls and going on the canopy and all of those things, because the canopy, you have to climb up. You have to climb up and then you have to come down, and then it's the rainforest, so it can be kind of slippery coming down. So you just want to make sure that you wear the proper shoes, wear proper clothing. Just be prepared for what could happen. I usually carry a roll of tissue with me in my bag, because most places you go, you probably not gonna find no tissue. So some tissue, some hand sanitizer, your herbs, your vitamins, your in my little medicine case, I usually have anti-diarrhea, a laxative, ibuprofen, Benadryl, baby aspirin for the flight. That's to help to keep your blood thin so you don't clot. If you have clotting issues, get you some, for the flight, you probably should wear some compression socks. Even if you don't have clotting issues, I would wear compression socks on those long flights. What else? That's about it. Just make sure that you really taking good care of yourself. We just had Sister Elaine was in Ghana recently, and she got really sick. She ate something and got really sick, and it took her some time to get where she was feeling better. So we have to be very cautious about making sure that we, that we're doing the best that we can to keep ourselves from getting sick. Sometimes it may be unavoidable. It may be actually, it just may be something that's unavoidable. But at the end of the day, it's up to you to make sure that you're taking good care of yourself. It's up to you to make sure wherever you're living, wherever you're going to stay in Ghana, and when you're in Ghana, you need to know where the closest hospital is, or if there's a hospital nearby, and what is it, if it's a good hospital, if it's somewhere that you can trust to treat you in an emergency situation. So all of these things are things that you should be looking into, and you should be taking care. Just know for sure now that if you have to go to the hospital, it is not America. There is no EMTALA laws. They do not have to see you. So if you don't have no money, you won't get seen. So you don't want to be dead because you ain't have some few CDs. It usually don't cost that much. It's a matter of, a lot of times we don't have the cash in hand. So Tiffany says, stay ready. That way you don't have to figure it out once you're sick. Nothing is worse than trying to figure things out when you're feeling like crap. Man, I'm telling you, like, sis, that's some real shit. Like, when I tell you this weekend, I am here alone. I'm here by myself. I'm on a consultant job, and my husband doesn't get here until next week. And so I'm here by myself. My assistant lives on the other side of town, and my business partner lives on the other side of town. I literally was so sick that I couldn't even think. Like, I was like, oh my God, like, you know how you feel so bad you get like almost delirious? That's how I was. And then I got from going to the bathroom like every few seconds. I was so weak that I couldn't even called downstairs for the gate the gate man to go and get me a Coca-Cola to help with my stomach. And I did finally get outside, and I couldn't get no further than the walkway. And I'm just calling and calling it, but my voice was so low I couldn't even really yell like I needed to if he was outside the gate. It was a hot mess, so I really just had to let it run its course, and that was hard. But thankfully I had some electrolyte replace. I remembered that up in a box I had some electrolyte replacement. That's another thing you should have. Just have things that you know that will that you might need. Like, thankfully I had the electrolyte replacements, so I could try that before needing to have to go to the hospital to get an IV. So I started replacing my electrolytes right away and doing whatever I needed to do. So you need to have things on hand. Like, I'm probably what they call a survivalist. I always have stuff. But this particular time, I played myself. I haven't been prepared. Like, I can't even believe I'm not prepared. So I'm sending a list of stuff home to my husband for him to bring with him when he comes, so that I can make sure I have all these things on hand just in case. It's been years since it happened, but just having it happen like this, I ain't trying to not be. So anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful Sunday. I'm about to lay my butt back down because I'm still feeling a little weak. But you all have a great day, and we can continue the conversation in the comments if y'all like. Thank y'all. Peace.